there has been a lot of controversy with the newer 2016 MacBooks that have driven many away from them, while others welcome many of the changes made. So, I decided to give one of these machines a try. Introducing the MacBook Pro 13 2016 with the Touchbar. This machine has such a build quality, difficult to compare with other premium devices due to its amazingly thin form factor and perfectly cut aluminum. Unlike last year's model, the whole chassis is made of aluminum. The only loss from this year's model is the glowing Apple logo, which some will miss. The hinge is now made of aluminum, making it more durable. This, however, is not what I would call a one-finger hinge, because it actually requires two fingers, one to open the lid and the other to hold down the laptop while lifting the lid. This is still a very premium feel to opening it. This machine comes equipped with a 2560 by 1600 resolution screen with colors that pop very beautifully. This would make for a beautiful display for content creators. Now we're getting into what makes the controversy of this year's MacBook Pro. On the right, you have an audio jack and two USB Type-C ports with Thunderbolt 3 support. On the left, you got two more of the USB Type-C ports with Thunderbolt 3 support. And that's it. All the connectors from last year are gone. There's no more MagSafe connector, USB-A ports, or an SD card slot. Just make sure you understand what this means before making the purchase. This laptop comes with an Intel Core i7 processor, dual core with 3.3 GHz, Intel Iris Graphics 550, 16GB of DDR3 RAM, and a 256GB solid-state drive. The keyboard is very clicky. There's little to no travel on this keyboard, so I would never use it for gaming, but when typing, I got to speed almost immediately after trying it. Some may love it, some may hate it. Trackpad feels very nice and is very responsive. Now, this thing is massive, so for me, I wasn't able to make use of all of that space, but this is just another thing that some may love or hate. The Touchbar was somewhat of a surprise, mostly because I was expecting it to be a glossy screen, but it had a matte finish. It's very responsive and nice to have, but it lacks support for a lot of applications. Now, it's not as great as it could be, but I can see it getting better in the future, so I'll be looking forward to it. The webcam is actually pretty good. The 2015 MacBook had a 480p webcam. Here, we're getting 720p, which is sufficient for all of your video chatting needs. Working in Photoshop was a pretty cool experience because of how vibrant the colors are. It just makes the images come to life more. I'm not a Final Cut user, so I will be speaking for Adobe Premiere. It's pretty smooth as long as you're working in 1080p, so if that's your goal, this will do you well with Adobe Premiere. Though for higher resolutions, I strongly recommend using Final Cut Pro, just because it's more optimized for macOS. Using this laptop was pretty nice actually. It's very light and surprisingly powerful, so doing any sort of basic task was very snappy. Touch ID is a pretty good time saver, and the laptop actually turns on as soon as you open it, which again saves time. Using it is definitely a treat. This machine is not safe from complaints, however. I'm not the first one to say that the lack of legacy ports is nothing more than a hindrance, though it eventually will be the perfect port selection. The keyboard, while having a nice clicky sound is appreciated, it can also get annoying when you're in public because it is pretty loud. Other than this is definitely a solid laptop. Here's my conclusion. If you were looking for something very portable, yet powerful from Apple, and a tiny form factor, this is exactly what you're looking for. This is truly a good machine, but hopefully in the future, ports will not need to be sacrificed for the sake of making it thinner. I will leave a link for this laptop in the description to the Apple Store, where you will be able to customize exactly how you want this laptop. For content creators looking at the 13-inch model, I recommend that you take this particular configuration if your workflow relies on a lot of rendering. For those who won't be doing anything particularly hardware demanding, then the base model will get the job done, if you really wanted to go for the 2016 model. This has been Tech Summit, thank you for watching, and I will be seeing you all next time. Merry Christmas!